everybody, it's JT Sports, and back to you guys with another video. In this video, I'm here with my Houston Texans versus the Indianapolis Colts Week 7 NFL preview and prediction. I'm going to be previewing this matchup and give my prediction for who will win this game. Now, before I begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. So in this game, we have the 4-2 Houston Texans on the road at 3-2 Indianapolis. This is a game to decide who ends up becoming in first place of the AFC South Division. And right now, these are two of the best teams. Houston, if they win this game, then they end up going up on a 2-game lead of the Indianapolis Colts. And if the Indianapolis Colts win this game, then they tie for first place, or they become in first place of that AFC South Division. So this is a very big game. I mean, a lot of people predicted these two teams to end up jockeying for seeing who ends up winning first place in this division. I chose the Indianapolis Colts to win the division because I don't really trust Houston's defense, and I haven't really trusted their offensive line. But their defense doesn't really look that improved to me, so I still have a lot of concerns about the defense. But the offensive line has started to look a little bit better the last couple of weeks. They're having a lot of sacks in the last 2 weeks. And, I mean, they beat Kansas City. Now, Indianapolis beat Kansas City a couple of weeks ago, so both of these teams are coming off of wins versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So I want to see, the thing that I'm looking at in this matchup is going to be able to see, is Indianapolis going to be able to get pressure on Deshaun Watson? Because Deshaun Watson has incredible stats when he doesn't get sacked at all. So, I mean, Deshaun Watson putting up MVP caliber numbers. He's a dark horse to win the MVP in my opinion. But also Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett has been pretty good. He hasn't been bad. I think he's been pretty good. I think he's been above average as well. The running game looks very solid as well. Marlon Mack looks to be very good. I think Marlon Mack, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up making a Pro Bowl this year. So both of these teams are looking very good, coming in very hot. And whoever wins this game is going to end up taking first place in the division, or going to end up being tied for first place in the division. If Houston loses, they're going to be 4-3. If Indianapolis wins, they'll be 4-2. So I don't know how that will work. I'm taking that Indianapolis would take first place and they win this game, because they'll end up having a better record, and Houston would have one more loss than what they would have, or however that goes. But if Houston wins this game, then they take 2 games up on the whole entire division. And the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans right now, then, I mean, they still have a little bit of catching up to do. So, I mean, if Houston loses this game, then it really puts the AFC South back into anybody's reach, because the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans all have pretty favorable matchups. Well, at least the Jaguars do. Tennessee has to play the Chargers. So, I mean, if Houston loses this game, then basically the AFC South is back in everybody's grabs. I mean, if Jacksonville and the Tennessee Titans win, then those two teams will have 3 wins. And, I mean, they will only be about 1 game back. So this is a very big game for Houston. Houston really needs to win this game if they want to finish off this division and have a comfortable lead on the division. So I think this is most definitely a must-win game for the Houston Texans. And I think their defense is definitely going to have to be able to stop up. Going to have to be able to step up in this game. I mean, Tennessee, the Houston Texans are allowing teams to complete 67% of their passes, and that's not really good. That's one of the bottom halves in the NFL. So, I mean, Houston's pass defense definitely has to play a lot better than what they have been doing the last couple of weeks. They also have to be able to get stops on third down. Another reason why their defense has been so terrible is that they can't get teams off the field on third down. I mean, teams are converting nearly 6 third down attempts every time they play every week, and that's 28th in the NFL. So the third down defense for Houston has to be a lot better, because you're not going to win a lot of games and you're not going to get a lot of stops on the defense side of the ball, and you can't even do the most important thing, which is finish the drive by getting the offense off the field on third down. So they're going to have to do a lot better in that department. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, I mean, they have been pretty good on the offensive side of the ball for the most part, but they struggle to score inside the red zone. So they're going to have to be able to score inside the red zone, because when we look at what separates playoff teams from non-playoff teams are their ability to score inside the 20, and that's what separates the good teams from the bad teams, because the bad teams can't score inside the red zone. So Indianapolis has to score inside the red zone. They also have to get stops in the red zone as well, because the red zone defense hasn't really been that good. So I'm about to get into into those things when I get into my keys to victory. So looking at my keys to victory, what easy teams to be able to do and able to win this game. For the Houston Texans, they have to be able to stop the pass. I mean, the Texans are allowing opposing quarterbacks and opposing teams to complete 67% of their passes. That's nearly 70% of passes that they're allowing opposing teams to complete. And the secondary still hasn't improved compared to where they were last season. So Houston's pass defense has to be able to get pressure on Jacoby Brissett, and they need to tighten up those passing lanes and to not give Jacoby Brissett a lot of space to throw the ball or something. I mean, in this day and age of the NFL, you're not going to stop the passing game, but I mean, they're going to have to find a way to limit the amount of completions that these opposing quarterbacks are getting against them, because this defense so far hasn't really played that well. They've basically been playing the same way they've been playing last season, and their secondary was a big hole they had to fill last season, off season. You thought they would have had that figured out, but apparently they don't. So in this game, they're going to have to find out a way to limit the passing game. Next, they're going to have to be able to get stops on third down. I mean, this defense, you can tell if a defense is good or not by their ability to get off the field on third down. And the fact that the Houston Texans are 28th in the NFL in third down defense tells you everything that you need to know about this defense. This defense isn't able to close, isn't able to seal the deal, and they're not able to get off the field on third down. I mean, they're allowing teams to have nearly 6 third down conversions per game, which is one of the worst in the NFL. And I mean, if you have a good defense, then you're able to get off the field on third down. Like when we look at the Buffalo Bills and we look at the New England Patriots, what those two defenses all have in common is that they're able to get stops on third down and able to get off the field, but the Houston Texans aren't able to do that. So I mean, when we're looking at some of the best defenses in the NFL, you got to look at how good a team is when it comes to getting the opposing team's offense off the field on third down, and the Houston Texans aren't really able to do that. So in this game, they're going to find ways to get pressure on third down or find some way to get off the field on third down if they want to be able to win this game. You can't allow teams to have nearly 6 third down conversions per game if you want to win the Super Bowl or you consider yourself a championship contender, because you're going to have somewhat of a defense to be able to go to the Super Bowl and to be able to win some of these games here. And a game versus Indianapolis, a game that has a very good coach and a very methodical offense, you're going to have to find ways to get off the field on third down. Now, what the Indianapolis Colts have to be able to do to win this game, they're going to have to be able to get stops in the red zone. Now, the Indianapolis Colts have one of the worst red zone defenses in all the NFL. They're 31st in red zone defense. They're allowing opposing teams to score touchdowns on 66% of their red zone attempts, or every time they get inside the red zone. And Houston has the best red zone offense in the NFL. They're number 1 in red zone offense, scoring touchdowns on 71% of their red zone appearances. And a big reason why is because they have a lot of weapons inside the red zone. You got DeAndre Hopkins there. You got Deshaun Watson, who is a threat in the red zone, not just because his ability to throw the football and he's incredibly accurate, but also his scrambling ability inside the red zone as well. So, I mean, the Indianapolis Colts are going to have to find ways to stop Houston inside the red zone. That's easier said than done. Not only do they have Deshaun Watson, but they have 2 halfbacks who are more than capable of scoring inside the red zone as well. You got Duke Johnson, who is a fast, shiftier back, who is also good catching the ball out the backfield as well. You can also line him up and he can play a little bit of receiver as well. And you got Carlos Hyde, who's a little bit more of a bruiser. He's a little bit more of a power back. He's a little bit more of an in-between the tackles guy, but he can catch passes as well. So you got a lot of red zone weapons for the Houston Texans on the offensive side of the ball that the Indianapolis Colts have to worry about on the defensive side of the ball. And if they can't stop Houston inside the red zone, then I think this game is going to be in favor of the Houston Texans. So Indianapolis has to be able to get stops inside the red zone. Next thing they have to be able to do to win this game is they got to get pressure on Deshaun Watson. The last 2 weeks, Deshaun Watson has been sacked 0 times. And if you're in Indianapolis, you're going to have to be able to get sacks on Deshaun Watson. You're going to have to be able to get pressure, because if you get Deshaun Watson all day to throw, then they're going to make you pay. And they have a lot of big play guys in this offense like DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, Kiki QT, and a lot of other guys as well, Duke Johnson. So if you don't get pressure on Deshaun Watson, you give him all day to throw, then that's basically going to be game over. And the last thing they have to be able to do is they got to limit big pass plays. The Houston Texans are averaging 11 yards per pass completion. They have a lot of big play threats. They have DeAndre Hopkins, who is arguably the best receiver in the NFL, and they got Will Fuller as well, who's a little bit of a hot and cold guy, but he can go for a big game and he can go for a touchdown anytime he's on the field. So Houston can basically score a touchdown anytime at any point in the game. So if you're in Indianapolis, you're going to have to limit those big pass plays. So the team that I'm going with to win this game, I'm going to take the Houston Texans to win this game. At first, I was swinging towards Indianapolis, but I just think the Houston Texans are the harder team right now. They're protecting the quarterback. The offensive line has played very well, and I think Houston's going to end up winning this game. I think Houston wins this game 27-24 is my final score prediction. So let me know who you guys think is going to end up winning this game down in the comment section down below. Also, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.